What's going on, guys? Hey, my name is Logan Manzanares, and today in this video I'm going to show you exactly why I use real estate for building wealth and why you might too. So without further ado, let's go. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Logan Manzanares. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a husband and father. Right now I currently own $4.5 million in real estate with my wife. We have cash flow over 6 figures a year from our real estate investing, and we're on our journey to do over 100 doors by the end of 2022. So if you want to be a part of that journey, let's go. All right, guys, so I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm so bullish on the real estate market and maybe why you should be too. So it actually all started about 5 or 6 years ago when I started investing in the stock market. I actually invested in a Roth IRA, put my money aside, and then I was like, I got an opportunity to put some money into my business. And so I went to go use that money. And they started to tell me that, hey, Logan, you can't touch that money. I was like, what? What do you mean I can't touch that money? I put that money in there. But in order for me to pull that money out of that Roth IRA, and I think I had another IRA as well, they wanted to tax me. They wanted to penalize me. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is the money I put in there after taxes. Anyway, I got really upset, got really frustrated, and I basically learned that once I put my money into the stock market, especially into like retirement style accounts like IRAs, I got penalized to take the money out and use it to basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to grow my business. I wanted to invest in myself, and I got taxed and penalized on it. At that moment, I was like, okay, this is silly, this is dumb. I'm not doing that ever again, right? And so then I invested a bunch of money in my business, and guess what? It turned out to work really, really well. Made money with my business, and then all of a sudden, I started making enough money, and I was like, okay, now I need to put this money. I need to put it into more of a stable asset rather than just putting all my money back into business. And that's where I learned about real estate investing, right? And the reason why I really like real estate investing is number one, it's a real asset, right? It's like a home. It's a thing that you can touch, you can feel, and as you look at all the things in your lives, like the things that we all have in common, all our same, like all the expenses that we all definitely have is we have a roof over our head, whether that's a mortgage or whether that's rent payment. We're still paying for a home in some way or another, and so that's why I like, because every single person on this planet needs a home to live in. And so that's why I like it, number one. But again, and like I said, it's a real asset. You can touch it, you can feel it. And as I look back, I start to think about all of the old buildings, like think about all the old buildings in your life, like those things, like there's been buildings that have been around for hundreds of years. There's been buildings that have been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? And so I was looking for security, and like I know that the buildings I buy today, they're going to be here longer than I am. They will outlast me, right? And I like that. So that's the number one reason why I like real estate investing. I just know it's real, it's tangible, and it's going to be here forever. Now, as far as like some of the benefits of buying real estate for a wealth advantage, especially over things like the stock market, things like gold and silver, is that it actually creates cash flow, right? So you can put your money in the stock market, you can put it into gold, you can put it into silver, you can put it into Bitcoin if you want. And unless you sell that asset, you don't get any cash flow. You don't get any money month to month from that, okay? Now, the cool part about real estate is that I put money into real estate and I get a cash flow. I get a distribution every single month from the person who's paying me rent. So let's say that I buy a $500,000 house. I put $100,000 down, which means I have a $400,000 loan. On a $400,000 loan, I'm probably gonna be paying around $2,000 a month. But I charge, let's call it $3,000 a month for rent. Now I have this $1,000 difference between what I charge for rent versus what my mortgage is, which creates $1,000 cash flow, which means there's $1,000 a month that's getting put into my bank account. Now, excuse me, I'm gonna get $3,000 a month. $2,000 that's gonna pay the mortgage. It's gonna pay the mortgage down. A piece of that goes to principal, a piece goes to interest, a piece goes to taxes, a piece of that goes to insurance. But that other $1,000 gets to go in my pocket, right? And I get to either reinvest that or I just get to sit it in that account. That's the cool part about real estate, that you don't get those same advantages in a stock market. You definitely don't get that from gold, silver, or even crypto. Now, can you create money and all those other things? Of course, but you have to sell the asset in order to get that, right? And so that's the cool part about real estate. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sell the asset in order to get the cash flow from it. Another big piece I like about real estate is appreciation, right? This is what people think about when they think about real estate, is that you buy a house for, like I said, $500,000, and over the course of a couple of years, let's say it goes up to $600,000. Now you just made $100,000 by just owning real estate. Now, I actually think of this as just being lucky, right? Because honestly, the market could go up, it could go down, it could go sideways. So I think appreciation is merely luck rather than like something that I bank on, okay? But it can be nice, especially with the market we have going right now. Like, it definitely has its legs to continue to going up for a while. But again, it could fall down. So that's why cash flow, number one, is the most important thing to buy for when it comes to real estate, because no matter if the market goes up, down, or sideways, you're still going to get that guaranteed $1,000 a month in this situation. Another reason why I like real estate is depreciation, right? So the cool part about real estate, let's say that you did make that $1,000 a month from our previous example and amortize that over the course of a year. That's 12 months. You get $12,000 a month of income. Now, here's the cool part about what the government does. For a tax break, they give you what's called depreciation. So while real estate generally is an appreciating asset, they actually know that all the things like your appliances, they know things like the roof, they know like the siding, everything basically is going to start to fall apart with time, is going to need to be replaced. So they give you this expense called depreciation. Now, depreciation basically allows you to depreciate the whole asset over the course of 27 and a half years. Why is 27 and a half years? I have no idea. That's just what the government says, right? So let's say you have a $500,000 asset, and you depreciate that over 27 and a half years, you're basically going to get somewhere around, I don't know the math off my head, but let's just say it's around $10,000 a year in an expense, okay? And so this expense gets to go against your income. So again, you made $12,000 a month from your cash flow. You have $10,000 of depreciation, which is a phantom expense. And now you have $2,000 left over in income. So you only get taxed on $2,000, which is one of the reasons why I like real estate, is because usually your depreciation is going to offset your income from your cash flow, which means that all that income you make is all tax-free, which is pretty cool. And which leads me into my next thing, which is tax benefits, right? So those are one of the tax benefits of real estate. There's also other tax benefits as well, that basically if you own a business of some sort, you can get so many other cool tax benefits as well, which is, again, as me being a business owner, another reason why I truly enjoy real estate for building wealth. And one of the last things I truly enjoy, this is what I don't hear very many people talking about, it's one of my favorite strategy for building wealth, is actually doing a cash out refi on my property. And so again, when it comes to selling Bitcoin or selling gold or silver or anything inside the stock market, as soon as you sell that asset, all of a sudden you have a capital gain, right? Which basically means you have to pay 20% whatever you make. So let's say you made $100,000 in profit. Well, guess what? $20,000 of that goes straight to the government. Okay, you don't get to see that money. Now, here's the reason why I love real estate so much, is that, let's say that same example. Let's say I have $100,000 equity that I can pull out of my home. Now, if I do it out as a cash out refinance, I get to pull $100,000 out of that from that loan, put it in my bank account, and guess what my tax implications are? Zero, because it's considered debt. It's not considered a capital gain. Whereas if I were to sell that property, now if I sell that property and I sell it for $100,000, now all of a sudden I have to pay capital gains on that. So not only do I got to pay capital gains, but also lose the asset in itself. Whereas if I do a cash out refi, I can take $100,000 and put it in my pocket, get no taxes, and I get to keep the asset. And that, my friends, is exactly why I love real estate for building wealth. There's no better game on the planet. And the reason why this is because the government incentivizes us to be able to do that. So don't look at like, oh, you're so lucky you get all the tax breaks. That's what the government is incentivizing us to do, is to build and buy and invest in real estate, because that's what the government wants. The government wants a country where we all have housing, and we're starting to see that more and more and more. As housing becomes a bigger issue, the government is starting to look at housing more as a right rather than a privilege. Okay, and so just understand, like, that's what the government wants. So it's like, I don't try to change the rules. I just try to understand what the rules are, and I follow them. So that's exactly why I recommend investing in real estate for building wealth. And hey, maybe you should too. So if you want to learn more, or you want to partner with me, or you want to learn more about real estate, please reach out. My name is Logan Mazares, and I'm out. Bye.